On behalf of our NSDA board and staff, let me extend a warm welcome to every one of you to the 2015 NSDA Symposium. We've been conducting these symposiums for quite a number of years now, and it's always one of the highlights of our year and of our activities. And as I look out this morning, it is a delight to see so many familiar faces, and a special delight as I look out and I see a lot of faces who aren't familiar. So let me just quickly ask, how many of you are attending an NSDA event for the very first time? Oh my Lord, wow. Thank you, and a very warm welcome to all of you. And I think you will find today to be very useful. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions. We have some of the leading experts and pioneers in the understanding and development of treatment options for SD with us today. And so you take advantage of the opportunity as the day goes along to get your questions, write them down, or we'll have opportunities during panel discussions for you to discuss the concerns and issues that you may have. Last year, we celebrated our 25th anniversary for the NSDA. So as we start a new year and into our 26th year as an organization, I am really excited with a lot of the opportunities, a lot of things that we see going on across the community, and the involvement with so many people in the community, and the interest in wanting to learn more about our insidious voice condition. I am very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with some of the most dedicated, committed people that I think I have ever come in contact with over the years. And I want to take just a couple of seconds and introduce some of these people to you. And I'm going to start with our NSDA board. So I'm going to ask the immediate past president, Mr. David Barton, who travels all the way from Auckland, New Zealand every year to be with us. So David, where are you? Thank you. Marshall Sterling is the treasurer of our NSDA board, and Marcia lives down the road in Palo Alto. Mary Bafaro is our support services director, and she is in Matthews, North Carolina. Our newest board member, who joined us last year, is Ms. Gwendolyn Davis, Nashville, Tennessee. Mr. Fred Hosier is from Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Fred. Larry Kalasa, our founding president, and he resides in Birmingham, Michigan. Larry's back here. And our one of our Energizer bunnies, Miss Stephanie Mendel from Belvedere. Steffi. A past president of the NSDA, Ms. Dot Sowerby from Greensboro, North Carolina. Charlie Womble from Lebanon, Tennessee, past president of our organization. Mr. Charlie. And clearly, we could not operate this organization and be where we are today without an incredibly dedicated staff of people. And our executive director is Ms. Kim Kuhlman. I think she's kind of hiding behind the post here. Kim. And a young lady that hopefully most of you had a chance to meet this morning outside the registration, Elaine Beamer, who is our program coordinator and does a wonderful job for us. I want to also introduce another young man that is a good friend, and he's a good friend of our community and our organization. And he is the co-founder of Musicians with Dystonia, Mr. Glenn Estrin. All of you, as you registered, you had a chance to see the gift bags that had been put together, the gift packages. And I want to especially thank Steffi and Marcia and Jan Lant and their support groups here in the Bay Area for a tremendous job and tremendous work in putting those together. So let's thank them. We also have a very dedicated group of volunteers who have served as the hostess for the last couple of days and helped with our reception party last night. So let me ask those volunteers to just stand for a second. They're all outside working, right? Oh, thank you very much. I know that I had the opportunity last evening to talk to a couple of folks who are joining us today from outside the U.S. I know there's a young man here from Belize. There's a couple from British Columbia, and there may be a couple of others of you from outside the U.S. in addition to my friend and colleague, Mr. Barton from New Zealand. So those of you from outside the U.S., would you just raise your hand? Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Let me ask one other question here. How many of you have been diagnosed with SD within the past year? A couple over here, a couple over there. Well, special welcome to you. And let me just remind all of us, and especially those of you new to what we refer to as our SD family, that in the NSDA, there are no strangers, just friends waiting to meet you. So please take advantage of the opportunity today, this evening, to make sure that you greet those friends who are waiting to say hello to you. As I mentioned earlier, we are extremely honored and pleased to have some of the leading experts and pioneers in advancing the understanding and treatment of spasmodic dysphonia with us today, and most of them are right up in the front row, and you'll be hearing from them here very shortly. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to go through a few quick slides to tell you a little bit about the NSDA. We are obviously a volunteer nonprofit 501c3 donor-supported organization, and we are the only organization that's totally dedicated to helping people with SD and their families cope with our voice condition. A very important point that, especially these days that you hear a lot of discussion about, is how nonprofits use their money. And I want to tell you that we run a very efficient and tight organization. And year to year, we average in the range of 84, 85, 86 cents of every dollar that comes into us in the way of a contribution for patient-supported programs to advance our mission. The mission of the NSDA is, as you know, to increase awareness, provide education about spasmodic dysphonia, encourage and fund research, and provide support and help to people living with spasmodic dysphonia. And a couple of days ago in our board meeting, we talked a bit about how do you summarize that and put it into more personal terms. And my summary of our mission is very simple. In the NSDA, we help people with spasmodic dysphonia live better lives. And the area of research, there is quite a bit going on, and you're going to have an opportunity today to hear from Dr. Jerry Burke and Dr. John Hood about some of the projects that are going on in research, and John has a grant himself that he's going to talk some about. There are a couple of grants I'm going to just touch on. Dr. Teresa Kimberly at University of Minnesota is doing a study using quite interesting leading edge technology, and I know Dr. Burke's going to touch on that a little bit more, but that's one of the grants that we are funding a portion of from the NSDA. Dr. Rita Patel is doing some interesting work in high-speed imaging, and that's another grant that we funded from the NSDA. And of course, Project 3 we refer to is part of a large NIH Dystonia Coalition project that our good friend Dr. Christy Ludlow has been leading for a number of years for us. And the current phase of that project will conclude later this year, probably about September. And then there are certainly other. Dr. Chetri has NIH-funded grant. I mentioned Dr. Hood. Dr. Christine Simonyan is also doing a lot of research, specifically in SD. How do we communicate and get information out to all of you? We do it in a variety of ways. One is through events like this with our symposia. We also have a printed newsletter, Our Voice. We have an online newsletter we call eVoice. And we have multiple books, brochures, DVD, to provide you information and try to help you feel that people are, in fact, working to better understand what is going on with our voice condition. And we also participate very actively in the Dystonia Advocacy Network, which is a lot of dystonia organizations coming together each year in Washington, D.C. to talk to our elected representatives and encourage them to keep in mind medical research and specifically dystonia and spasmodic dysphonia research when they're looking at funding NIH and other organizations. We have more than 80 support groups, about 200 plus area contact people, not only in the U.S. but around the world. We have an online support group, and we have just a fantastic support committee who does a wonderful job of communicating with people and making them aware of the information that we have and giving them access to medical professionals and other people that can help to answer your questions. The NSDA Vision, and it's something that we crafted here a few years ago, and I'm a strong believer in if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And a lot of people have attributed that to Yogi Berra. Whether Yogi said it or not, who knows? But I really believe that is very true. And the vision we have for this organization is very simple. What do we want to be, and where do we want to be when we grow up? So very simply, that is, we want to ensure the ongoing viability of the organization, the NSDA, that will continue to lead the effort to eradicate spasmodic dysphonia. That's what we want to be when we grow up. This is your meeting. As I said at the beginning, please make the opportunity during the day and this evening, talk to each other, because we all learn from our shared experiences. Not a single one of us can walk in another person's footsteps, but we all have similar journeys that we are on, and we can certainly learn from each other. So make the day productive for you. That's what we want you to do, and that's really our objective. With that, we are going to move into our program. So thank you.